For 10 years, I thought I was living a fairy tale. Matthew and I, we were the couple everyone looked up to. High school sweethearts who made it work, who built a life together from scratch. He was my rock, my best friend, the man I trusted with my entire soul. He'd come home every day at 6 on the dot, kiss my forehead, and ask about my day. We had our Saturday movie nights, our Sunday morning walks in the park. It was a routine, a beautiful, predictable life that I cherished. I never once questioned his loyalty. Why would I? He gave me no reason to. He was the perfect husband. Or so I thought. The illusion started to crack on a Tuesday. It was our anniversary, our 10th. I'd planned a surprise dinner, his favorite steak, a bottle of the expensive wine we'd been saving. 6 o'clock came and went, then 7, then 8. I called his phone, and it went straight to voicemail. I called his office, and the security guard said he left hours ago. A knot of anxiety tightened in my stomach. This wasn't like him. Not at all. Finally, at 10:30, his car pulled into the driveway. He walked in looking exhausted. He said there was a huge crisis at work, a last-minute project that he couldn't get out of. He apologized profusely, his eyes filled with what I believed was genuine regret. He even had a small bouquet of wilted flowers he'd apparently grabbed from a gas station on the way home. I wanted to be angry, but looking at his tired face, I just couldn't. I hugged him, told him it was okay, and we ate our cold dinner in near silence. I told myself it was just a one-time thing. But it wasn't. The late nights at work became more frequent. The excuses became more elaborate. A client dinner, a team-building event, a system crash that needed all hands on deck. I started to feel a distance between us, a subtle shift I couldn't quite put my finger on. He was physically present, but his mind seemed to be somewhere else. He was always on his phone, smiling at the screen. When I'd ask who he was texting, he'd just say, "Oh, just work stuff. You know Steve from accounting." I did know Steve, and Steve was a 60-year-old man who barely knew how to use email. I tried to ignore the red flags. I loved him. I wanted to believe in the man I married, the life we had built. I convinced myself I was being paranoid, that the stress of his demanding job was just taking its toll on both of us. But the doubt was a seed that had been planted, and it was growing, twisting its roots around my heart. I started to feel like a stranger in my own home, in my own marriage. The truth came out in the most cliché way possible. One afternoon, he left his phone on the coffee table while he showered. It was an accident, a rare slip-up in his carefully constructed deception. A message notification lit up the screen. It wasn't from Steve. The message read, "Can't stop thinking about last night. You're amazing." My world stopped. The air left my lungs. My hands trembled as I unlocked his phone. His password, ironically, was our anniversary. And there it was. A whole other life I knew nothing about. Months, maybe even years of messages. Photos of them on dates, at hotels, on a beach vacation he told me was a work conference. There were paragraphs of "I love yous," promises of a future together, and cruel jokes about me, his clueless wife. The woman, Chloe, was a colleague from his new department. Younger, vibrant, everything I felt I wasn't anymore. I felt a physical pain so intense it doubled me over. It was a betrayal that cut deeper than a knife. I sat on the floor, the phone in my hand, tears streaming down my face, the pieces of my perfect life shattered around me. When he came out of the shower, wrapped in a towel and humming a cheerful tune, he saw me. He saw the phone in my hand, the look on my face, the color drained from his. The cheerful humming stopped. He had no lies left to tell. The man who had lived like a loyal husband right in front of my eyes was finally exposed. The confrontation was ugly. He tried to downplay it, calling it a mistake, a meaningless fling, but I had read the messages. I had seen the photos. He chose to lie to me, to disrespect our marriage, to build a separate life behind my back while playing the part of a devoted husband at home. The quiet of the house after he left was deafening. The pain was unbearable, but in the midst of the heartbreak, there was also a strange sense of clarity. The anxiety, the doubt, the feeling that something was wrong, it hadn't been in my head. I wasn't crazy, I had been betrayed. The days that followed were a blur of grief and anger. I went through all the stages: denial, rage, bargaining, and a deep, profound sadness. I leaned on my friends and family, who were my anchors in the storm. They reminded me that his betrayal was a reflection of his character, not a measure of my worth. It was a long and difficult process, but slowly I started to heal. I started to rediscover myself, the person I was before I became Matthew's wife. It's been a year now. The divorce is finalized. I sold the house we built together and moved into a small apartment that feels entirely my own. Some days are still hard. The ghost of the life I thought I had still lingers. But I'm learning to live with the scars. I'm learning that my happiness doesn't depend on someone else's loyalty. The fairy tale is over, but my story is not. This is a new chapter, one that I get to write on my own terms. And for the first time in a long time, I'm excited to see what comes next. Thank you for listening to my story. If you've ever been through something similar, know that you are not alone and you have the strength to get through it. Don't forget to like and subscribe for more stories. See you next time.